Hey guys, welcome to the Real DV Watchers. This week I'm reviewing the amazing movie that is Pilgrim vs. the World. I'm actually wearing, I don't know if you can see, my Scott Pilgrim t-shirt, which looks a little something like that. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It came out in the UK on Wednesday. I went and saw it. Yeah, I went to see it on Wednesday night, and I was blown away by how amazing it was. Well, it's originally a series of comic books written by a man called Brian Lee O'Malley. I have them all here. There's 6 volumes, each of them filled with awesomeness. I highly recommend going out and checking these out. Even if you haven't seen the film or aren't planning on seeing the film, read these because they are amazing. I'm not a huge comic book fan. I'm trying to read more, but without a doubt, this is the best series I've read. It's so funny, just so well written, some amazing characters in it. Just please read them. It's directed by Edgar Wright, who of course directed Spaced, Shaun of the Dead, and Hot Fuzz. It's the first American movie or US movie, or even though it's technically set in Canada, I think it still counts as an American film. It's the first one he's made. All the other movies he's made have been with like a British cast. Obviously Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and Spaced all starred Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. This movie stars Michael Cera as Scott Pilgrim. The plot of the movie, or the plot of the books, the plot of the entire thing, the most basic form is basically Scott Pilgrim, this guy here, meets a girl called Ramona Flowers, this girl here, and he falls in love with her, but in order to be with her, he must defeat her 7 evil exes. And so in the volumes of the comic book, each volume, he has to deal with a different ex. And the movie has tried and done very successfully, I think, to take all 6 volumes and squash them down into a movie that's about an hour and 40 minutes long, maybe a bit longer. And some people who have read the comic books may be a bit disappointed that some things have been cut out. Obviously, some of the subplots, some of the kind of filler, I guess you could say, in the comic books has been cut out. But, personally I didn't have a problem with that. There are some changes. The final comic book, Volume 6, which came out, Volume 6, which came out about a month ago, or, not that long ago. Obviously this wasn't out when the movie was made, so as far as I know, I think the ending was going to be different to the books, but it's not that much different. I mean, there are a few kind of changes. There's a character called Knives Chow, who is Scott's kind of girlfriend at the beginning of the movie. Then he meets Ramona Flowers and dumps Knives. Her storyline, actually, the girl who plays her, whose name I cannot remember, she does a really great job. I think of all the characters in the movie that I really enjoyed, I enjoyed seeing her the most. I really liked her in the books, but in the movie they kind of swapped the storyline around a bit, and I actually had a really great kind of symmetry to it, especially when you see the start of the movie and the end. It's really good how Edgar Wright did that, and he's really good at doing that in his movies. He does have a lot of throwbacks and stuff, which I think is one of his specialties, and he does a really good job telling her storyline. Luckily, one of my favourite characters, Wallace Wells, who's played by, I think it's Kieran Culkin, Macaulay Culkin's brother. He does an amazing job. He basically, every scene that Wallace is in, he steals. He's the funniest character in the movie. He's probably the funniest character in the comic book as well. But he really does steal the show. Real star of this movie, though, without a doubt, is Edgar Wright, who directed it. He just did an amazing job. It's one of the most stylish. If you've seen Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, you know how he loves to use these kind of quick cuts in like his editing and stuff and directing. He does that in this, and it's just fantastic. There's so many kind of little references to video games and to other things like that. There's like a reference to like Seinfeld in this. I think I said that wrong. There's references to Zelda, Mario, all these different kind of old school video games, which I just loved. And this movie is so kind of layered in that respect that you could watch this a million times and see a different thing each time. You're going to pick out different sounds, just different noises and sound effects that he uses in the film that just kind of, you're like, oh my god, that's from Zelda. Yeah, if you can't tell from this review, I absolutely loved the movie. It's without a doubt the best film I've seen all year, and it's one of the few films that I've seen in a long time at the cinema where as soon as I came out I wanted to go straight back in and watch it over again, and I'm gonna watch it again. Yeah, I loved it. The soundtrack, I mean there's so many things that I haven't mentioned. The soundtrack is fantastic. Obviously Scott Pilgrim is in a band called Sex Bob-omb, which is a reference to Mario, and I think it was Beck, the artist Beck, who kind of came up with the songs and stuff, and this is amazing. Clash at the Demon Head. They play a song in the movie. Clash at the Demon Head is another band in the movie. They play a song by a band called Metro, I think. One of the best points in the movie, just because of how Edgar Wright directs it. When kind of you hear like the bass line of the song, it cuts between the characters' faces, and it's just so good. You can actually check that music video out. I'll put a link below. Just watch that and just see the genius of Edgar Wright's direction in this movie. Yeah, it's awesome. It's just. Oh, I love it. In terms of its look and how it's directed, it is one of the closest movies, to the comic book source material. So even if you only go in you watch it for that purpose, if you hate Michael Cera, go and watch it. I'm not a big fan of Michael Cera. Well, actually, I quite like some of his films that he's been in, but he is kind of a one-note kind of actor. This is without a doubt the best thing he's been in. It's his best performance, and he does put more energy into it than a lot of like the other things he's been in. So yeah, I really did enjoy this film. It was amazing. Yeah, please go and watch it. I loved it, and I'm gonna go and watch it again. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Go and watch it, or at least go and read the graphic novel. So yeah.